Hello, in this video we'll talk about transformation of data in SPSS. We'll learn what transformation of data means. We'll also learn why you should transform data, and we'll also learn the procedures of transforming data in SPSS. There are situations whereby when you want to carry out parametric tests like independent samples t-tests or one-way ANOVA. One of the basic assumption is that the data should be the independent variable. The dependent variable should be approximately distributed for every category of the independent variable. So there are situations whereby you have a data where the dependent variable is not normally distributed. I know in my previous videos we've talked about dependent and independent variables and how to run normality tests to know them. So this is where transformation comes in. You can't run these parametric tests without them being normally distributed. So what do you do then? Do you just delete the data or leave them like that? The option that you have is to transform the data. So transformation here is a process. Transformation of data here is a process of changing or converting a non-normally distributed data to a normally distributed data in order to carry out your parametric tests of either independent samples t-test or one-way ANOVA. So you should understand that the transformation of data we are talking about here is not converting a data format to another format. It's about converting or changing a non-normally distributed variable, dependent variable, to be normally distributed. So now there are basic or different transformations, and they have different transformations for different reasons and different cases. So basically we have the moderately positively skewed data where you use the square root. You apply square roots in order to transform them, and we have moderately negatively skewed data where you apply or use a square root of the reflect and the square root to transform this data into a normally distributed data. And we also have a situation whereby the data is strongly positively skewed. When the data is strongly positively skewed, we use the logarithm, which is log 10, to transform the data to be normally distributed. We also have a situation whereby a data is strongly negatively skewed. So when the data is strongly negatively skewed, when it has such abnormality, we use both the reflect and the logarithm, that is the log 10. We also have a situation whereby a data is not normally distributed, it is extremely positively skewed. When you have situations like this, we transform them by applying an inverse or reciprocal on the data in order to transform the data to a normally distributed data. We also have a situation whereby the data is extremely negatively skewed. When you have this situation, you apply the reflect and the inverse. But in this video, we are going to show you how to transform data that is moderately positively skewed. Then maybe when I get more comments and more requests on the rest, then I can possibly make more videos for the rest. But in this video, we're going to learn how to transform a data that is moderately positively skewed. So now we'll move straight into the procedures. But before we do that, however, we must understand that transformations will not always be successful. So it's not guaranteed or 100% that when you transform your data, it might be normally distributed. Yes. So in situations whereby you've tried all these processes and your data is still not normally distributed, you use other tests like non-parametric tests to run the test on the data. Alright, so now we'll move straight to the procedures. But before then, as you can see, we have our data here, gender, and we have scores. So now I want to, this will assume, which we've already done in some of our videos before, that the dependent variable here, score, is not normally distributed among gender, which is male and female. And one other thing that you should take note about is that if the variable of one independent variable is not normally distributed while the other is normally distributed, you must run transformation on both variables. For instance, if the scores is not normally distributed among male, but the scores is normally distributed among female, you run a transformation for both male and female. Alright, so we are going to run the process now for you to get a clarification of what I'm saying. Alright, so to do that, we click on transform, compute variable. Alright, so now this is the dialog box. So we have the target variable here. The target variable is the new variable, a variable in which we want to convert. So we can't just convert the old variable and leave it that way. We have to create a new variable when we convert the data. So now we can name this as score square root, because this is the type of transformation we are carrying out, transformation whereby you do the square root of the data. Alright, so now we've named our new variable, which is a target variable, as score underscore square root. Alright, so next we have two options. I'll show you the first one. The first option is you can either click on arithmetic, then you come down under the functions and special variables and click on square root, double click on square root. Alright, so now we'll have this in the numeric expression box. So now we'll bring in the variable in which we want to transform into the bracket. So now I want to transform score, so we can just click on it, then click the arrow, put it in there. So now we have score. Now we can click OK. That's just the easiest way of doing it. You can as well type this in, square root, then in parentheses you can type in score. So these are the two ways you can do it. You can either type it in, or you click on arithmetic, then double click on square root, then you click on the variable in which you want to transform, click on the arrow to go into the parentheses, the bracket. Alright, so as simple as that. Then you click the OK. Alright, so it's processing. I think it's done. So now our data has been transformed. Minimize this. As you can see, there is a new variable here, score, our new target variable, which we've transformed, score square root. All right. So now that we've transformed this variable, we'll have to run a normality test again on this new variable that we've transformed to know if it's now normally distributed. If we run the normality test, which we have learned in our previous videos, so we'll have to run a normality test on this new data alone to know if it is not normally distributed. If it is not normally distributed, we'll now have to try other transformations that we have, because this one we just did now is the moderately positively skewed. So we can try the moderately negatively skewed. We can also try the strongly positively skewed, like that, until our data is normally distributed. And if we do all that and our data is still not normally distributed, we are advised to run another different test, a non-parametric test. So I hope you understood this, how to transform data and what transformation of data is and why you should transform data. Please give your comments, whatever questions you have, whatever confusions you have, you can leave it in the comment box for us. Share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. We'll see you in our next video.